Hello, folks. Um, Going over my toolbox deck list. I played in the daily event today, October 29th. Um, Went well. Just wanted to do the little visual layout, show the changes that have happened in the last couple weeks. Um, last week, if you read my article, if you could read my article, uh, which I guess didn't convey my thoughts as well as I wanted to. Um, I have tendency to overthink things. So I was looking for an actual finisher beyond infinite mana, infinite cards in hand. Like I didn't want to pass the turn to my opponent. Um, I believe it was Andy from the Clan Magic Eternal and Yoggbell Soap Opera mentioned that instead of looking for a single card, basically set up you know a board state. So the article I was looking towards Mindslaver. It's basically like a one card vault key combination, which would work with the welders and whatnot. Um, and just my nature, I was overthinking things. He made the point, you know, infinite mana, infinite cards, infinite life, which, you know, Staff of Domination taps to gain a life, infinite tap down your opponent's creatures. Um, Staff of Domination does a whole lot more than it kind of gets overlooked at. Well, it untaps a creature and it draws a card and allows you to draw infinite cards to create infinite mana. Um, it does a heck of a lot more than that. So I went with the advice. I was looking to streamline the deck anyway. I wanted to get a little bit more aggressive, a little closer to the Panther build, um, as opposed to like the kind of stacks control build. Because I felt like I'd run into situations where I was too control, and what I really, really wanted was an artifact, you know, to throw in somebody's face. So, um, some slight changes. Dropped one City of Traders, so I'm down to two. I dropped a Wasteland, so we're down to three. Apologize if you can hear my cat Poe meowing in the background. Uh, down to three Wastelands. I almost pulled Wastelands completely in favor of Crystal Veins for additional mana acceleration. Um, it was ultimately I came back to Bizarre Baghdad as the reason I had to run Wasteland. Um, this build, I'm not, if I was trying to throw down a Golem on turn one and a Slash Panther turn two, and then a Metamorph on turn three of the Slash Panther and swing for a billion, like one or two Wastelands, even the Ghost Quarters might be really valuable. Um, but since I need one, I need red mana, and two, I'm not that aggressive. I felt that wasn't the way to go. Um, so I trimmed the Wasteland in the City of Traders. I'm running three Great Furnace um, to reveal to the metalworkers. A little worried about no rods that didn't run into any. They also sacrificed the Goblin Welder. Two Mountains, which uh, came in handy in a game where I got Ghost Quartered. Would you like to search? Yes, I would. Then Path to Exiled. And what do you know? I had two basic lands. Running the Buried Ruin. Kind of a backup plan to the Goblin Welder, which I can cycle one a turn with Crucible Worlds. Maybe not the most efficient thing. I only think I played the Ruin once all event. I didn't use it. It's activated ability there, just mana. Um, Academy and Mox Opal I was thinking about removing from the deck because it was too conditional. I wanted something more consistent. And I don't know. I didn't like not having them, so I went back. Uh, Crypt, Soul Ring, Vault. Still running four Welders. Um, the Welders, everything but mental misstep. you know, uh, they're great against everything but the mental misstep. When they counter my Lodestone Golem, and I get to just swap out my Mana Crypt to bring it back anyway, feels incredible. Um, You make so many things irrelevant. And in a mirror match, when you can swap out their creature for their empty Chalice of the Void, that feels pretty good too. We're back up to 3 Revokers and the fourth in the sideboard. One thing, I don't know, it kind of got lost in the article I wrote, but I expected to play lots of Snapcaster Mages. I did not today, but anticipating the growth of Snapcaster Mage, I also anticipate the growth of main deck Nihil Spellbombs, and even sideboard Nihil Spellbombs. The fact that it can replace itself makes it the hate of choice, I think, for those blue decks. So, obviously, Spellbomb is bad against Goblin Welder. So, I'm kind of hedging against that, anticipating those. Didn't happen today, but still came useful. Was still 2-1, which isn't terrible. Still only 3 Sphere of Resistance. I almost locked myself under. I actually did lock myself under spheres a couple times today. I was able to dig out of it. But those guys, these feel 2-way, and the Thorns feel 1-way. Like the Thorns don't bother my Lodestone Golem, but the spheres do. And so I like the 3 and then the 4 Thorns. Still 1 Crucible World's main deck, combos with the Buried Ruin, combos with the City of Traders, combos with the Wasteland Strip Mine, blah, blah, blah. 4 Metalworker. I'm up to 2 Staff of Domination. I've taken out Search. I have no Search Engine. I have no Forge Master. So I brought in a second Staff, just to increase the likelihood of seeing it. It's not terrible on its own. It's not super. I did almost pull out a game win against Whiffy Penguin playing Dredge, where I Staff of Domination to gain 1 life a couple turns. And it should have made the difference. I made a play error. You'll see that in the video. Trinisphere, Lodestone Golems, Batterskull. Sarbashar messaged me and asked me what I thought my card of the tournament was, and I told him I think it's Batterskull. I knew that I didn't want to play Slash Panther. I like Slash Panther. 4/2 haste is awesome if you can sneak it in there. You hit for 4. If you happen to have 7 mana and you can, hit for 8, with a Metamorph, even better. There are a lot. I think one of the reasons Shops has dropped over the last few months and is only now starting to pick back up is because of people playing Fish and Bear decks. There's a lot of 2-power creatures in this format, and if you happen to notice, we just added a blue 2-power flash creature that gives something in your graveyard flashback. So you attack with a Slash Panther, they flash in Snapcaster Mage, brainstorm or do something for value, and still kill your Slash Panther. So I didn't want the 2 toughness. I think 3 toughness is where it needs to be. That said, I didn't want Precursor Golem because I didn't want to get 6 for 1. Shattering Spree is vicious against this right now. I got torn up in the tourney practice room. Shattering Spree, the Replicate gets through Chalice of the Void because it's a triggered ability. So the Chalice will counter the original spell, but the copies of the spell don't get countered by the Chalice because it specifies when a player casts a spell. Well, the copies are never cast. So any Replicates get through, if they happen to be replicating twice, that satisfies the Trinisphere. And for every copy beyond the first, they are reducing the value in the rest of my spheres. I mean, if I have 1 sphere out and they replicate it once, they're only paying a half a mana extra per copy, or per actual Shattering Spree on the stack. 2 copies are paying a third of a mana. They get good value on it. So I did not, I kind of foresaw Shattering Spree coming back into the metagame. I didn't want Precursor Golems blowing up my lodestone golems, or even if there's not a lodestone, just getting 3 for 1 seemed bad. Batterskull, I can retrieve. That was my play error against Whiffy. I should have retrieved. And it's a 4/4 lifelink vigilance. Like, it's good. It's only 5 mana, so 1 cheaper than a Wormcoil. I can land it on a workshop followed by an ancient tomb and play a Batterskull. And here you go. Attack for 4 and block for 4 and attack for 4, block for 4. Hey, I gained 16 life. Batterskull, having not rewatched all the videos at this point to write my article, Batterskull would be my MVP of the day. Like, my perception of my tournament, the Batterskull was the card that was different and came in and won games. Wormcoil engines, 2. I'm, by the way, thinking about a 3rd Batterskull here. 2 Wormcoils, good. If I felt I could squeeze a 3rd in, I probably would. But I think what I've got is pretty close to where I need to be. The Spine of Ishsa is kind of my one little trying to appease my overthinking things. I can beat an ensnaring bridge on the board. I can, if I happen to have it, I can beat a null rod. Or if I have Metalworker Staff and I'm staring down an Aura of Silence, I can go retrieve the Spine, kill the Aura, and go on with my game. I'm back not only from 0 or 3, but full 4 Chalice of the Void. 2 counters is the goal. Expecting Snapcasters, and countering a Snapcaster is countering 2 spells. So, and one of the spells they probably really want. And on top of that, one of the spells has probably already hit you once pretty hard. So stopping it the second time is important. So back to 4 Chalice of the Void. Sideboard, the second Crucible, 3 duplicates for the Oath matchup, also good in the mirror. 4 Leyline of the Void, the 4th Revoker, 3 Crypts, not too different. The 3 Triskelions, I would like to have a main. I just don't know where I'm going to find room at this point. Maybe as the metagame fluctuates, maybe Snapcasters settle down a bit and maybe the Graveyard Hate dies down. I can afford to skip one Revoker and maybe back down to Chalice to 3 or something. But in the meantime, the Triskelions sit in the board. They had an excellent game in the finals. But that's what they're there for. They're there for fish. So, it was a good tournament. I made a couple play mistakes. Basically, right at the very beginning, the first game against Whiffy Penguin, and then the last game against the Maniac, I made a pretty bad play error. Other than that, I think I was fairly solid through the day, and the deck held up really well. The only question mark is that Spine. Like, should that Spine be another Batterskull? I don't know. We'll test with it, see how it goes. Other than that, hope you enjoyed the game videos, and I sure enjoyed playing them out for you guys. Thanks, everybody.